Last year's Xiaomi 12 Lite was an incredible mid-range phone. The lightweight development, blended in with fair performance and shockingly great cameras, made it a simple gadget to suggest. As a matter of fact, it's been my day-to-day driver for the beyond a half year. It's actually pressing onward. However, has the opportunity come for me to trade SIMs? Xiaomi has sent off the replacement, which flaunts a slimmer frame, quicker processor, and a few different touch-ups. It has a great deal to satisfy, so we should perceive how the Xiaomi 13 Lite passages after full testing. Design. While the Xiaomi 12 Lite apparently took its motivation from the iPhone 12 territory, with made right corners and a level display, the Chinese organization has dug somewhat further into the past, with the 13 Lite, which looks similar to the Samsung Galaxy S8 and S9 models from a couple of years prior. This is no terrible thing, as those were probably the most attractive gadgets we've at any point seen. As far as size, the 12 Lite and 13 Lite are practically the same, with the last's 159.2 x 72.7 x 7.2 mm aspects shaving off small sums, and the 171 grams weight just 2 grams, not exactly the model it replaces. It feels unique, however, with the bended edges of the 655 in display joining the comparable filleted backboard to make it sink into the hands, and let you in on that this is an extremely meager chassis. The metal edge implies it ought to endure a drop or two, however, and the matte plastic backboard provides you with a most on a pinch of hold. Xiaomi incorporates a silicone case in the crate, and you'll require that as the handset can be somewhat tricky. The meager flanks are sufficiently wide to oblige volume and power controls, with the base edge home to a solitary speaker, USB-C charging port, and the double SIM plate. Xiaomi has expanded the sturdiness of its Lite series this time around, as the Gorilla Glass 5 for the display that showed up on the 12 Lite is joined by an IP53 water and residue-proof rating, which wasn't there already. This permits the 13 Lite to endure downpour showers and conceivably an excursion to the ocean side. However, it actually can't be drenched in water. Screen and speaker. In many regards, the display on the 13 Lite is indistinguishable from the one that went before it. It's as yet an AMOLED Full HD Plus board, with a 20:9 viewpoint proportion. The display upholds HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision, albeit this time around it sports a somewhat better 89.5% screen-to-body proportion, and has those bended edges. Xiaomi states that the greatest brilliance is 1000 nits, yet for regular use, you'll hit around a portion of that. I estimated the board at 703 nits, which is all that could possibly be needed for a splendid bright day, and practically up there with the Samsung Galaxy S23. At the highest point of the display is a pill-molded poke hole for the twin front cameras, which seems to be like the iPhone 14 Pro. This implies you have somewhat more impediment while watching recordings, yet all at once it's not really awful. Xiaomi has given the 13 Lite a pleasant, splendid, beautiful display that is responsive and agreeable to utilize. The refresh rate can be set at 1 or the other 60 or 120 Hz, but at the same time there's a powerful setting that will change to the most valuable one in some random circumstance. So for instance, 120 Hz for gaming or 60 Hz while watching a video. The touch inspecting rate continues as before as last year at 240 Hz for smart reactions. There's likewise a consistently on display that can show warnings in the time, which can all be designed through different topics accessible on the gadget. Performance. As this is a mid-range gadget, you will not be shocked to see that there isn't a Snapdragon 8 series processor in the engine. That is not to thump the Snapdragon 7 Gen 1 that Xiaomi has gone for, as it's an entirely skilled entertainer and can adapt commendably to most things individuals believe should do on a phone. Opening and exchanging between applications is smooth. Orders are executed without a second thought, and for the most part, it's a charming encounter utilizing the 13 Lite. Gaming is great, with Black Top 9 and the other graphically requesting titles. I tried all joyfully cooperating with no slack. Xiaomi likewise outfits the 13 Lite with a custom-treated steel vacuum chamber to improve the dispersal of intensity that can develop when the gadget is put under strain. 8 GB of RAM is where the 13 Lite tops out, and in the UK this accompanies 128 GB of storage, while Europeans can select a more substantial 256 GB choice in the event that they wish. It's UFS 2.2 storage as well, which assists with the speed of the framework. Cameras. Xiaomi has moved from the 108 MP divided by 1.9 principal shooter in the 12 Lite to a 50 MP divided by 1.8 on the new model. It includes a Sony IMX766 sensor. However, while the cameras on the past age truly intrigue, the 13 Lite appears to have somewhat less prowess. You can unquestionably have a few decent chances on the fundamental focal point, with lively tones and strong centering, yet it experiences a cycle over processing, with pictures overhoned by the software. Tones can likewise get either excessively level or oversaturated actually without any problem. At the point when it hits the nail on the head, you can be compensated with extraordinary outcomes. Yet I found that over and over again I could see the advanced rectifications in the picture, in addition to when you crop in there is a lot of commotion. Picture mode is a genuine model, with a pleasant bokeh impact making the foundation foggy. Yet on a few events the camera would conclude that a piece of the closer view was behind the scenes, obscuring that piece of the shot. More costly cameras battle with this, so I will not be too brutal on the Xiaomi 13 Lite. Yet should take note of that you should check your picture before you continue on, as it might require a retake. Night mode is like last year, with the software forcefully meddling once more. Frankly, I found that resting the phone on a level surface while shooting with the fundamental camera in typical mode returned more extravagant and more fulfilling shots than attempting exactly the same thing in night mode. The far-reaching is a 8 MPF divided by 2.2 camera that can provide you with a more extensive field of view, though at the expense of detail and variety. I didn't expect a lot from the 2MP full scale as they are perpetually poor in all cases. However, in great light, you can get a few good pictures to share via online entertainment. The double forward-looking cameras can return some great selfies and video. In addition to there are different modes to make your TikTok manifestation. For example, the Xiaomi Selfie Sparkle that turns on 2 lights while recording to all the more likely enlighten your face. Video maximizes at 4 Kelvin divided by 30 FPS on the vitally back camera and looks pleasingly when great light is free. Moving from lighter to hazier doesn't appear to irritate the focusing, which holds consistent. However, there is a propensity to attempt to overexpose the climate and look for light, which perpetually adds clamor. Software and applications. Android 12 is the fundamental working framework for the 13 Lite, with Xiaomi's own MIUI 14 on top. As skins go, it isn't so unfortunate, with a lot of customization choices, and it keeps the peace on most events. Battery life. The 13 Lite accompanies a 500 mAh limit battery, which makes a fine showing of helping you through the day. I generally observed that there was still around 15–20% of force left in the tank toward the finish of the night. My routine typically includes involving the phone a great deal for virtual entertainment, paying attention to digital recordings, settling on decisions, and general web perusing. Thus, in the event that is the manner in which you utilize a phone, you won't be searching for an accusing spot when out of this gadget. In the event that you really do find you're running short, well, that won't be a very remarkable problem, as Xiaomi remembers a 67-watt supercharger for the Cray, and this figured out how to re-establish 42% after just 15 minutes, 80% in 30 minutes, and 100% in a little more than 40 minutes. Putting the Xiaomi 13 Lite through our standard PC Mark battery test, it returned an extremely solid 9 hours and 14 minutes, albeit inquisitively this is not exactly the model that preceded, which likewise had a more modest battery. Finally, please subscribe to my channel to get more video. Thanks, and see you again next time.